Max Kellerman,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. What impact will this criminal justice reform organization have?
I think it could have a significant impact because celebrity obviously draws attention to the issue. Meek Mill drew a lot of attention to the issue. And I think when you really look at issues affecting especially people of color in this country as a result of systemic poverty, really, from the country's, dating back to the country's original sin, drug laws, et cetera. In Meek Mill's case, parole violations. Like if in Meek Mill's case, he was doing a wheelie during a video shoot. So now he gets in trouble for like a violation because he's making an illegal maneuver. But because he's on parole, he can get sent back to prison. It's ridiculous. Has nothing to do with the original crime. But beyond that, there are kids, you live in the projects, and it is difficult not to be around, whether you realize that you're around it or not. Someone may have a gun or drugs in your vicinity. You can go right back to jail. You didn't do anything. And so I think Meek Mill has raised the level of awareness about the issue, and the fact that Robert Kraft and others are involved in it. I think the more aware people become about the injustices, the various injustices that exist in our justice system, the better off we are, because I think it will speed change.
I agree. I think that's what I peeled from it, the level of awareness that this is going to generate, because we know what happened with Meek Mill in terms of the probation issue. You know how powerful and influential of a voice Jay-Z is. Mr. Kraft is white. He's Jewish. He's a billionaire with obviously incredible connections. We can't ignore that and the influence that brings. This is a man that's won numerous awards for his philanthropy. He's been honored by ESPN. He just recently received the Genesis Award because of his contributions and his fight against anti-Semitism and beyond. So we take all of those things into consideration, and whether we like it or not, even Van Jones for CNN, who I have to give major props to. This man has been on the case about criminal justice reform for many, many, many years. And as critical as he has been, and at times has felt he needed to be about the president of the United States, the fact of the matter is even he stood up and gave the president an applause because the president was willing to sign criminal justice reform into law. Now, make no mistake, the president and his relationship with Robert Kraft, obviously you can see that connection there. I mean, you never know what kind of influence somebody as powerful and influential as Robert Kraft can actually wield. You would surmise that it could be significant, but to see it in this particular instance reaching fruition and touching the lives that they're touching and attempting to touch even more lives, to bring the attention and the awareness to this issue that people have been clamoring for as it pertains to criminal justice reform, it's something that just cannot be measured. We could talk about the Clinton administration and early, with the crime bill and what have you. We talk some of the things that went on in the 90s, and we saw some of the residual impacts on the African American community and beyond. Cocaine as opposed to crack cocaine, the kind of sentences that were handed out and what have you. Too much to go into right now. But in the end, what it comes down to is that it's been a blight on America for quite a long time. It's something that needed to be addressed, and I think something like this brings attention to it, and that's all we can ask for.
So to answer your question directly, Molly, will these big names, will these big celebrities have an impact? My answer is going to be a little bit maybe surprising given our times, because I understand that the President of the United States is the president largely buoyed by his celebrity status. But I'm also pessimistic about the value of celebrity going forward. Okay. We see celebrities speaking out more and more on important issues, and I'm uncertain of what real effect they have. So that's nothing to say about Meek Mill as an individual, but rather I'm doubtful about the future power of celebrity going forward. But I would like to push forward a little bit because I think this is an important issue. And it may come as a surprise to anybody watching or you two individually who we've had vigorous disagreement on a lot of serious issues. But I think criminal justice reform is something that absolutely deserves serious attention. Now, it's a little bit of a generic term, criminal justice reform. It could encompass a lot of things. Stephen A., you rattled off a ton of it. Meek Mill, Robert Kraft, Sixers owners, what they're interested in is probation and parole reform, specifically the 4.7 million Americans out on probation or parole. Now, that's designed actually to be somewhat more forgiving and lenient, right? We're not going to put you in the prison system, which the United States has the largest prison population in the world. But I'm not sure it's doing its purpose. Max, you point out Meek Mill went to jail, was recidivized for minor violations.
Right.
I believe in harsh punishment. I believe either with your children or in society, I believe in harsh punishment. But I don't believe in thousands of little cuts, thousands of little punishments, little slaps on the wrist. I don't think people learn lessons nor reform their behavior by constantly going, I don't mean to be, no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. I believe more in, I believe more in, can I show you the next one? Because I believe in harsh punishment. So step over here, Max. No, I do believe that's how human beings learn lessons.
Why
That's
does
what it
everyone
would
want
take.
to hit Max today?
That's a good point. I don't mean to join the mob, Max. I believe more in that. And probation and parole, while it might be driven out of, sympathy and an attempt to be lenient, it actually, I don't think, is accomplishing our goals.